Hi, I'm Gabby. I wanted to talk today about constipation because throughout the weeks I see clients day in, day out, and I've started to notice this pattern, these same common mistakes that people are doing. And I think it's easy to fall into a trap almost of making these mistakes because you're in pain. The gut is swollen. You're perhaps not having a bowel movement for days on end. And in the end, you'll reach for anything to help the bowel to move. I've been there. I've had this same situation where my bowel was stuck. I just couldn't seem to go, and it's sheer agony. You can spend hours on the toilet at a time just trying to massage your abdomen to get something to happen. So, the main mistakes that I'm seeing people make relate to what they're opting for to try to solve the issue. So, we're taught, aren't we? We're taught you must have fibre, fibre will help the bowel to go better. But that is mistake number one. It's the type of fibre that people are using. Mistake number two is straining on the toilet. I know how uncomfortable it can be, but actually, straining when we're in the incorrect position can cause even further problems. Mistake number three is the use of laxatives. And of course, we're told to take laxatives to make things move, but the long-term solution is that it can cause the bowel to become lax or lazy. So let's go into this in more detail. So as a naturopath, I've been dealing with bowels for about 18 years, and I've seen all sorts of conditions. So people come with IBS mixed, IBS diarrhea, IBS constipation, and then more serious conditions such as the inflammatory bowel diseases. And people have at different points throughout their life flare-ups. So I seem to get quite a lot of people coming in with constipation. And when checking what they're doing to help, this is where these mistakes have become apparent. So mistake number one, fibre. There's actually different types of fibre that we can have. So soluble fibre is the one actually that absorbs water into the bowel, and it creates this gel-like substance that makes the stool nice and soft and easy to pass. So types of soluble fibre would be things like the flax seeds or linseeds, chia seeds, porridge oats, psyllium husks. There's also foods such as apples, blueberries, raspberries, pears, carrots, almonds, Brazils. So they all have this type of soluble fibre. And what that does is it's almost like coating the sides of the colon. It's really, really soothing for the gut. Now, there's certain people that really suit that type of fibre, where maybe the bowel is quite dry and dehydrated, and maybe that's why there's constipation. They're not able to have a proper bowel movement because it's got so dry in there. So if you're having soluble types of fibre, you must drink plenty of water, especially with something like linseeds. Linseeds really need to be soaked so that they make this gel-like substance, so that you're drinking it as a gel. And that type of gel just soothes the entire digestive tract. It's wonderful. It almost feels soothing as it goes down. And you can actually make linseed tea by boiling up those linseeds until you've got a very, very thick substance. It's amazing for people who have just a very dry, dehydrated colon, whose bowel movements are almost like rabbit pellets. That's how my clients describe it. And of course, they're painful to pass. You know, we're not supposed to have bowel movements that are like that. They should be soft, shaped like a banana. They should bob slightly and should be a fairly light brown. If your stool is anything other than that, then there could be some imbalances somewhere within the colon. And then the other type of fibre is the insoluble fibre. This is the one really that as it goes into the bowel, it's quite solid almost. And what that does is it swells in the bowel, and it's allowing the bowel wall to have something to press against. So as your bowel is like this, if something is pressing against it, it allows the muscles of the colon to contract. It's that action which is allowing peristalsis. So insoluble fiber can be really useful because it's swollen and pressing against it, it will allow the colon to contract. And that in itself can move wastes through the colon. So this is where the whole grains come in. So for some people, when they're told to eat more fiber, they automatically choose the insoluble fiber, such as wheat. And wheat can actually be quite aggravating to the gut. So many of my clients say, I've been told to have more fiber, so I've been having my Weetabix, I've been having toast at breakfast, things that they perhaps wouldn't normally do. But I'm finding that actually that's aggravating their colon. They needed more of the soluble fiber. And this is just creating a very dry and dehydrating situation. We still need insoluble fiber. It's actually vital. So this is things like brown rice and quinoa. It's seeds, it's certain vegetables, it's certain fruits. And that insoluble fiber means that it's almost like the sticks and stones of the colon. It gives the colon something to press against. So it's important that we have this real balance between the soluble and insoluble fiber and just knowing which way your bowel is going to respond. So the second mistake we were talking about was straining. We have this particular position we're supposed to be in when having a bowel movement, and that is the squatting position. So if you're sitting on a flat level toilet and you're bearing down, the bowel isn't shaped that way. You're bearing and actually causing pressure to build up, and that can be contributing to hemorrhoids. So if you're in a crouched position, in a squatting position, using something like a squatty potty is the name, you can find it probably on Amazon, then you're automatically put in the correct position, and actually the type of bearing down sensation is as little as blowing a balloon. So for children, we actually get them sitting on the toilet with their knees up and their bottom dipped into the toilet, blowing balloons. But there's absolutely no reason why an adult couldn't do the same. So getting into that position and creating that gentle pressure and waiting allows the bowel to open naturally. So doing these techniques together can work really, really well. But for somebody that's using laxatives, which is the common mistake number 3, then the bowel becomes lax, lazy, loose. So it doesn't understand then how to correctly cause stimulation because the stimulation has come from a product. So laxatives actually, they work in multiple ways. There's different types of laxatives, and I won't go into detail here into all of them. But the idea is that we want to encourage the bowel rather than overly stimulate it. And one of the ways that we encourage it is actually with bitter herbs. So what bitters do is the taste receptors on the tongue can feel that bitter taste, and it sends a signal to the brain, which sends signals to the stomach, and it causes secretions of the stomach acids. It works in a second way as well. So bitters also cause like a warmth or circulation to the gut area, and there's studies on this as well. So those types of bitter foods and herbs. Bitter herbs are wormwood. Wormwood is amazing, and in fact there's studies showing that that's been beneficial in small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. There's artichoke as a herb, but also as a food. There's dandelion root. There's black radish. There's turmeric. So any of these things are very bitter tasting. Milk thistle is another excellent one. And in terms of foods, we can use things like rocket or arugula, celery, radishes, walnuts are very bitter, endive, watercress. That type of bitterness, fieriness, and warmth actually allows for these digestive secretions so that it's promoting movement within the bowel rather than overly stimulating it like a laxative would. Understandably, there's times that people need laxatives, But the aim really is about prevention. So it's using these things regularly, using the right types of fibre, sitting in the correct position, and using the herbs and foods that would naturally stimulate digestion, which can have amazing effects. So please put these things into action. If you do have any questions and you want more advice on this, then you know where I am. My name's Gabby. Bye.